CFR Hot Stove is with Ted and Wasey. We'd like to welcome to the stage. He's the world champ of Wi-Fi. He likes to read books and paint pretty pictures. Ted Stovin.
I think the painting line was bullshit, but that was pretty good, Waste. Nice one. I've got one written for you here too. Yeah.
I'm gonna start back here and then I'll come.
Yeah, man, we gotta pretend like we're playing this up a little bit here at the Canadian Finals, man. All right, he's the first employee of Everything Cowboy Inc. and president of the Downtown Division, the 2014 Canadian Cowboys Association champion bull rider. And this guy is so cowboy, he's even won money in the barrel racing. Make 'em, that's where they make 'em. And then what did I say here? And then he's a Saskatchewan transplant, now living in Calgary. Wasey Anderson.
Also, a little known fact, I'm the 2011 Saskatchewan High School Rodeo King, so I've done it all.
Dang.
If there's something to do at a rodeo, I can do it.
Dang. All right.
I've also won money roping calves and team roping.
Really? But as we found out yesterday, Lakota Bird can beat you in the tie-down roping.
Yeah, she kicked my ass more often than not.
Okay, let's get going on this one, eh?
Yeah, man, good rodeo this afternoon and last night.
Yeah, that's right. You got to watch the perf. I was over at the Jones Boys.
I missed the first couple events, but
Yeah.
I saw mostly the steer wrestling, some of the tie-down roping,
Yep.
some of the saddle bronc riding, and the bull riding.
Bit of bull riding.
And I honestly wasn't paying close attention. I was visiting with some old friends, but I saw Todd Kudowitz make a really good bull ride, keep himself in the average, 87 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great for Todd.
Our good friend Morgan Grant made a good run in the tie-down roping.
Yep. And what else? Case Thompson wins
Case
the bronc
Thompson,
riding this afternoon.
It's good to see him get one down. He's kind of had a tough start to the week, so.
One of our guests here won the
round.
Won the round as well. We're going to introduce you here in a short minute, but I guess I got the intros now. You got the last one. We'll do it that way.
Second one. You go first. I'll go second.
Okay.
You go third.
Okay, and then I guess we should let everyone know, anyone that's in the audience this afternoon, that this is the same stage where we'll be introducing our CFR Allstar band this evening at 8:30 p.m. And then we'll have, that's featuring Drew Gregory. Then we'll also have the buckle presentation starting right about 9:30 p.m. right here on this stage as well. We'll wrap up the evening with Dan Davidson starting about 10:30 p.m. So it's all happening right here on the TD stage inside the Cabaret Corral. But let's get to our guests. They're waiting eagerly here on the side of the stage. She's having a banner year in 2021. Her fast time earned her and her horse Moose a new trailer at the Big Bang Barrel Race. That's a lot to say. In Sundre,
say that 10 times fast.
The Big Bang Barrel Race in Sundre, Alberta, making her first trip to the CFR. I was over at Jones Boys this morning, and that's where she's known as the Bit Queen. Please welcome from Eckville, Alberta, Tana Millard.
All right, our next guest is the 2021 Calgary Stampede champion. She won the round this afternoon. She's from Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, a fellow Sasky like me. Welcome to the stage, Bertina Olofsson.
With 1,000 eyes in a good disguise, hit 'em right between the eyes, hit 'em right between the eyes. When you walk away, nothing more to say. See the lightning.
All right, he's making his CFR debut, a former college rodeo cowboy at Laramie County Community College in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He's from just down the road in Innisfail, Ryan Schuckberg. I think we got to just start off, too, and say an extra big thank you to Bertina for filling in last minute. We had our bull rider, Edgar Durazzo, was scheduled to be on the show, but actually got banged up this afternoon, so he needed to get himself some ice and get a break before the perf tonight. Still leading Canada on that side of things, so he's just taking a little break, so sorry for those that were looking forward to maybe seeing Edgar, but thank you very much, Bertina, for being here, and it actually works out great because you won the round this afternoon. Let's start off with that.
Yes, I did. I was actually surprised that my horse ran as quick as he did, but a happy surprise.
Let's talk about your horse first off. Tell us which horses you brought this week, and just talk about that to begin us off here.
My main rodeo horse is Duke. He's 13 years old this year. We've been rodeoing in the CPRA since 2018. And my mare, she is 8-year-old, and she's run a few rodeos for me, but she's my backup.
Okay. And I just got to make a note, too. All the CFR barrel racers are signing autographs here on the right side of the room. Your right, our left. And we stole Tana and Bertina out of the autographs. So if you're looking for their autographs, just come see us during the show. You won't be interrupting. Make sure you get them to sign your program, They got autograph sheets here too. So we don't want to take away from that. So come up and get autographs, and we can catch you after as well. But Wasey, I'll throw it to you for your one here.
Yeah, we were in Jones Boys earlier today, and we were talking about your horse, Tana. He's more used to the outdoor pattern, bigger pattern, more space. How does that change?
And we talked too as well. Tana made a horse change today, so you're
cool.
on Ebby this afternoon, correct?
Yeah, I got on Ebby this afternoon. Moose is the main guy. He got us here, but he definitely does better on the wide open patterns. So, which is how you get to CFR, because they're the big money rodeos. So, but.
Well, it's even like a question that could be answered by both of you. Like, how much does that strategy change, like going from outdoor to indoor, like consistently throughout the year?
Well, for me, it's made a big difference just because we're in such a narrow pattern. Whereas when you get into a big, wide open pattern, your angles are so different. And I think Bertina and I both felt like that. We've both been on really big horses the first 3 rounds, and so that's definitely affected them.
Go ahead, Bertina.
Yes, that's why I say I was surprised. Maybe with my horse, he's always done better outdoor big patterns than he has small indoor. And in the CPRA, the amount of money that I've won indoors is very little. And so to win the round here, it was really exciting for me.
I didn't see the program today, but where were you out on the ground? It's been very top heavy.
Number one.
Number 1, eh? Is that 4 for 4 now?
I think 3 for 4.
3 for 4. Wow.
Yeah.
So where are you at the next 2 rounds?
Number 4, and then we don't know our position until
Sunday. Okay,
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, or I guess after tonight's perf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, we got to get you in here quick. Go ahead, Wes.
Oh yeah, we were talking backstage. You said you've been coming to watch the last few years here in Red Deer. How does it feel to be in the arena competing this year?
Yeah, it's pretty special to be here competing. I've been coming here to the Rebels games and stuff my whole life, so to finally be down on the arena floor is pretty special.
And you mentioned you've broke the barrier the first 3 rounds. You had to kind of change it up, do a horse change. What went into that?
Yeah, I mean, for some reason I just don't seem to be clicking with that horse. And
Which mic do you have over there, Ryan?
7.
7. Can we get number 7? Okay, there we go. Now we weren't in the house there, I didn't think. Go ahead.
Yeah, for some reason I haven't seemed to be clicking with that horse this week. I rode him lots this summer and this winter, and we got along great. But I don't know if it's something I'm doing, but I couldn't seem to figure him out, so I made a change, and it felt good this afternoon. So I'm excited for the next 2 rounds.
What's the strategy heading into the last 3 rounds? You may be out of the average at this point, but are you just going to go at it and try and get some money?
Yeah, I don't think my strategy's changing much throughout the whole week. I'm just trying to go out there and throw them as fast as I can, I guess. So, yeah, I definitely don't have anything to lose at this point. So, yeah, I'm going to try to go and throw them as fast as I can in the last 2.
We were talking before, and you said you made your way and were making an effort to get to the CFR and the steer riding a couple years ago, and you said you didn't make didn't make the high school finals, went up to the CCA, did make the finals there in Swift Current the first 2 years. That would have been 16, 17. That was those couple years,
Yep.
and then made the CFR. So what has changed over those last few years to make your way to the next levels?
Yeah, I guess I just always, try to have a big work ethic in the practice pen and always be practicing and trying to run lots of steers so that I can be as prepared as I can be for when I get to the rodeo. And so, yeah, I just never got discouraged and just kept grinding, and hopefully someday it was good enough, and it was this year.
Where is the practice pen for you, and who with?
Fortunate enough to have a practice pen at home at my parents' ranch, and so we run lots of steers there, and I practice with Matt Richardson and Lannon Beardsworth quite often. They're from Innisfail and Old, so it's always nice to have a couple guys come out and help, and it's good energy in the practice pen. And so, yeah, no, that practice has been a huge thing for me.
Tana, I was over talking with Terry and Tracy and Trevor and Mitch and Don over there this morning. We were talking. They said, "Yeah, Tana, she's the bit queen." So you got to explain that to us a bit. Is that a sales thing, or like Like, what's the story there?
My mom has collected bits my whole life, and so I've rode in a lot of bits. And Abby seems to only pick the expensive ones, and she only likes them once.
Oh, really?
So I have gotten a lot of experience with bits over the years, and that's been something that has definitely helped me with my job at Jones Boys. So yes, anybody who needs a bit usually comes into Jones Boys and asks for me, so that's where the bit queen comes from.
How long have you worked with that crew over there now?
I've been there for 2 years. It's been great. What else could you ask for to do what you love every day?
You get discounts on the bits?
I do get discounts on the bits.
So they're not quite as expensive.
No, they're not.
Bertina, it's been a huge year for you. You won the Calgary Stampede earlier this summer. Talk about that journey and bringing home that big check.
Oh, to bring home the Calgary Stampede champion and the check, and the bronze. The bronze is much heavier than what it looks as well.
Where'd you put the bronze?
It's in my living room on a mantle.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. But it is heavy. It's
I believe
surprising
it, yeah.
how heavy it is.
Those things are expensive too.
That's
Like,
what I found out.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the process.
Hope you insured it. Yeah.
Yeah. The process of how it was made, one of the wives of someone who makes them was telling me the whole process, and I said they should actually show that. You would never.
Pretty cool.
It's
actually
pretty neat.
And there's is it Shay Keller? I think.
Yes, that's
yeah,
who I'm
that'd be who it
talking
was,
about.
right?
Yeah.
Rothman,
'Cause-
Saskatchewan's own.
But Shay's
Yes.
doing that. Like he's making bronzes, and his were in the competition that the Stampede had a couple years ago for the new set. They do a new set every 3 to 5 years. I forget what the number is now, but
I
sorry,
think he
proceed.
did a few of them, and it was his wife Robbie that was telling me of the process of making it. I'm like, you guys should do a little video of that because you never know how much work goes into these trophies.
Absolutely.
Kind of a bit of a lost art almost, isn't it?
Yes.
But
So-
so go ahead on the Calgary stuff. I'm sorry to interject.
No, that's okay. I kind of lost trail. Calgary Stampede, getting the invite for the Calgary was, like I said, a dream come true to compete there. And I always hoped that if I ever got there, that it would be the pen my horse liked. When he was a 5-year-old, I pictured that. I was like, this is the pen he'll like. We raced on chuck wagon tracks. That's where, in Gymkhana, he learned barrel racing on, and so I always pictured Calgary would be perfect for him. He knew that setup, that was home to him. So when we got into Calgary, and it took a few runs to get back into the rodeo, but he hadn't been rodeoing for a year and a half. So as the week went on, he got stronger, and the last day, when he made his run in the morning, or the earlier performance, I knew that we had a shot for it then, because he just got stronger and stronger.
When it was a couple years ago, but Doug Young from out your way as well, he said you got to watch out for Bertina Olofsson. It was kind of a thing where he's like, she's coming on and gonna go places. So I got to give Doug props for pointing
Knows
out a
his
while.
stuff, man.
Oh yeah, Doug's on it. But you'd have to know Doug from the CCA days as well, I suppose too.
Yeah, I CCA'd for 2 years, and I started out in the KCRA, the amateur, and then I CCA'd 2016, 2017, and I won the CCA championship in 2000, or it was 16.
Yep, when we made it
It was
together.
2015 and 16 that I competed there.
Okay.
And 17, Duke was sidelined by an injury actually halfway through the year, so I sat out the rest of that year, and in 2018 he came back stronger, and we went into the pro then.
Okay. Tell me what you did before though. Like before then, where you were in the KCRA. What was your real job before that? I don't know this.
I actually had my kids when I was 20, and I ran around. I was a hockey mom. I was busy doing I didn't ride horses for 17 years, I guess. And
Oh,
then
wow.
when the hockey started dwindling out and they were going on to college, Duke and I started picking up our own sport.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mom's
And
time
you
to
have your
shine.
own breeding program.
And I have my own breeding program as well for.
You got to
for
tell us all
horses.
this, Tana.
Yeah, so she's
Yeah.
filling in
You gotta- you
filling
gotta-
in the blanks.
You got to put the
Yeah,
mic a
I
little
need
closer.
my own talk show, Ted.
Yeah,
I've
you
got
just-
all the points.
You can take
We
take
can
over
leave
for
if
us.
you guys go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, please keep going. This is great.
But my husband, he was running chuck wagons, the same as my family always has it in the eastern chuck wagons in Saskatchewan. It's the pony chucks, and so that's why I started at Gymkhana with Duke, is because I was back from when I was a little kid. I used to do that, and so that's where we started.
Okay.
And he was coming on really quick as a 4-year-old and strong, and we started entering futurities. I didn't know anything about futurities, and I had people coming up to me and saying, you have to enter that horse in a futurity. And I'd never traveled more than probably an hour from home to compete before, and I loaded up and went to Stettler with him, and he won one round and in the go, and we ended up, I think, second in the average at that futurity, and that's what gave me a little bit of the taste of the traveling, was that, and that he was good, like he could compete against. So.
Ryan, we were talking behind stage there too, and you kind of had a little Western event happen in the box a few weeks ago or a few months ago. Talk about that and let people know how that went down.
Yeah, I kind of got viral there for a little while. In Fort Smith, Arkansas, I went to reset my horse, and he had other ideas, and we ended up jumping the load alley, and I was cat scratching out of there and made it out, and everybody was all fine, and the horse made it out fine, and I ended up placing in the rodeo too, but no one ever seems to talk about that. They always bring up the horse jumping the chute, but no, that horse was fine, and we rode him that night again and the next day, and rode him lots, so he must have been able to tell I was nervous or something.
Oh, geez. Well, how do you get yourself reset after that? Like, that's pretty extreme to happen just before your run, so it'd take a lot to get back dialed into what you need to do.
Yeah, it all happened pretty fast, and I guess I got up, and Curtis had another horse standing there, and so I just swung a leg and backed in and tried to go back to business, and it seemed to, it worked anyways. Maybe it was a good reset.
Want to take it?
I want to talk with Tana, because we've spoken a few different times about this, but about your family involved in rodeo, and same thing with Ryan. We'll get back to that in a bit here, but just the family side of things, and because we were talking about. Was it your dad or your grandpa the other day at the store? I forget now.
My grandpa.
Your grandpa, yeah. But the bull riding side of things, just tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I am a multi-generational rodeo family. My grandpa rode bucking horses and team roped and rode bulls, and he raised bucking bulls. And his son, Todd, actually made the NFR with Tuff Hedeman and Lane Frost before he was killed in a car accident. But then my mom is a CFR qualifier as well, and so I came by it honestly.
And was it Wade Joyelle too that's...
Yep, Wade Joyelle was helped raised by my family and rode bucking bulls at my grandparents' place, and Donnie Johansson did schools there, and so yeah, we're definitely a bull riding family before we were a barrel racing family.
And this is northern BC too, right?
Yep.
Isn't that the case?
Yep, by Vanderhoof, by Prince George.
Okay,
Yep.
I see. Ryan, how much did Zeke give you any advice before coming in here to the finals? I gotta ask that.
Yeah, he wished me the best of luck, and I don't know if he knows too much about steer wrestling, but he definitely told me to, relax and just go do your deal. And so, it's always nice to have a world champion in your corner pumping you up, and yeah, it's always good. If I ever feel like I need a little bit of pat on the back or something, I can go talk it out with Zeke, and he always seems to bring you back down to earth and let you know it's going to all be okay. And so, yeah, it's having Zeke around is really nice.
So Linda is a Shuckburg, and is she your mom's sister?
No, it's my dad's sister.
Your dad's sister?
Yep.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yep. And then my other cousin is Bo Cooper. He won the Resistol Rookie of the Year in the PRCA this year in the CAF Open. So it definitely runs in the family. And my grandfather was in the Calgary Stampede and the bareback riding and the steer wrestling. So yeah, it's definitely a generational thing, and being young and growing up, when you grow up with Zeke and stuff, so when you go and see him having lots of success, it hits home, and you think, geez, well, he's just another guy, so why can't I go do something like that too, right? So it definitely gives you some confidence.
What led you to the time event side of things versus going down the rough stock route? Like you said, you rode steers, tried to make CFR on that end.
Yeah, I tried the rough stock deal out. I got on a few bulls and a few broncs, and I was just too scared. I'm not afraid to admit it. I just I was way too scared, and it wasn't too much fun. So once I run my first steer, and after it was over, I thought, geez, this is a lot more fun when you're not scared to do it. So I kind of started to forget to enter the bronc riding here and there. And I haven't officially retired, but I haven't been on in 3 or 4 years.
Which is wild to me because like steer wrestling does not appeal to me at all. Like jumping off a horse going 30 or 40 kilometers an hour, like that just does not seem like a good time. Then have to wrestle an 800-pound steer to the ground, let alone that. I'm not a very big guy, so.
Yeah, I know it's lots of fun. It's kind of a contact sport, and it's you can go and have lots of aggression and everything like that. So it's lots of fun. I really enjoy it.
What's your experience with the steer wrestling, Lacey?
None.
Zero?
I've done some shoot dogging.
You've done some shoot dogging?
Done some shoot dogging.
Have you ever twisted one down?
Oh, well, like not in the proper form. Like you got a brand and you get a calf get up and you got to throw them down.
Okay.
But just ranching.
So did you so have you got did you actually compete in the shoot dogging, or was this just was this the?
I did it a few times in junior high finals or junior high school rodeo. That's about it.
Okay.
A couple times. I didn't
Best
like it.
time?
Yeah, I didn't like it at
Oh,
all.
it didn't work. Weren't big enough.
Well, like Ryan, you'd be on the smaller side of things when it comes to being a steer wrestler. How does that change when it comes to technique and the mechanics of it for you?
Yeah, I try to have good technique and mechanics, like you say, and if a guy just practices that over and over again, eventually you hopefully get to where you can do it often. And yeah, so I mean, try not to think about being a smaller guy because there's lots of small guys that have lots of success. So you don't want to be thinking about it. So I just try to go do my deal. And yeah, we got to do it. We can't necessarily get away with some things, but if you do it all right, there's no reason why it can't work.
As a smaller guy, you have to be very technically correct. You can't cheat them when you're a smaller guy.
No, absolutely. You got to do things right and score good and ride good horses, and hopefully it all works out.
You were mentioning you're riding other guys' horses. Is having a team of your own something in the works, or something you'd like to do?
Yeah, for sure. I've messed around and started a few, and I've got some practice horses and stuff, but they're just not quite fast enough to give you the edge, I don't think. But yeah, for sure. I mean, this winter I'd like to get some young horses and try to get a team going because it'd be nice to have some of your own.
What's next though? After you were down south with you mentioned Curtis and a couple of the crew that way. What's the plan from here? Are you guys going right to, I guess Regina would hopefully be next, and then hit the Denver qualifier in late December kind of thing?
Yeah. I plan on going to the Maple Leaf Circuit Finals and the Denver. I think I'll just be outside of getting into Denver, so I'll have to go to the qualifier, which is fine. Hopefully a guy can get some money out of there too, and then have your qualifications up for the winter rodeos. And I got a couple American spots too, so I'll go down for that, and we'll just go and try to have fun with it again.
Is that something in the cards for you too as well? Like now that you had some success at this level, like now going down south, trying your hand down there, is that something that you're gonna
I think
pursue?
eventually Moose is more of a big pin horse, and so AT&T would really suit him, but getting to AT&T is the hard part. They've got a really small pin there at Fort Worth, so you have to have a big
Gotta have
pin
two.
horse, small pin, big pin again. Bertina could do it.
I did have plans to go south this winter. I'm taking some of my younger horses for training, so I wanted to get my feet wet a little bit in the pro rodeos down there too.
You wouldn't it have been grand if Calgary counted this year?
It would have been, yeah.
You mentioned the family aspect of the things. You did the hockey mom thing, went around to the truck wagon events. So are you dragging the family to the rodeo side of things with you now, or how's that look?
Well, my daughter, she barrel races in jackpots, so we do jackpotting together. My husband, he no longer chuck wagon races, but all of my family still chuck wagon races. So usually my dad still does. And so they don't have time to come watch me. They're busy with their own sports.
And so which of the horses are more wild? Is it the chuck wagon horses or barrel horses?
Well, I used to have to hold my dad's wagon for him, and they're pretty wild. But I had him hold my barrel horse, and he handed it back to me. It was too crazy. so I don't know. He would say it's barrel horses are crazier.
Have you turned any ex-wagon horses into barrel horses?
When I was a kid, we did. My dad actually would have had a chuck wagon horse that we would use in barrel racing, and then he would run it that night on the wagon. So,
really?
So we have. But now the horses, usually we want both of ours to be top of the game, so you groom them
more-
for
no more
one
sharing.
event.
There's no more doubling down, yeah.
I have two cousins that are in the chuck wagons in Calgary. Well, one, Evan Salmond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that was what I was hoping if I ever made it to Calgary, he'd be there at the same time. He's been there for about 4 years, I think.
Well,
so
hopefully next year.
that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, they're back, and I've heard that the invites went out on the chuck wagon side of thing, and I think they had a pretty high acceptance rate. So I don't know who's going or not, or what the details are, but the invites are out for the Chucks to go back to Calgary next year. So hopefully he got that call and he's
I
going
hope
back.
so.
Yeah.
It was when he was a rookie and he made it into Calgary. He came home with all of these signed posters and from the rodeo, and he put them up in this loft. He had kind of a bar on the top of his barn, and he had it filled with all these posters. So I went home, and Duke was only 5 then, and I had a crappy barrel picture of myself. I photocopied it, and I signed it, and I said to Evan, my biggest fan, and I hung it up on it with all of his posters. And so he took it down, he threw it in the garbage because it didn't go with the theme, and I told him, well, I'll get you one of those one day. So that's why my posters now are of my Calgary Stampede win. So
Oh, yeah.
it's up on his wall now.
Oh, I like that.
Ryan, you touched on building your own steer wrestling horses as well. Like, what goes into making a good dogging horse?
Yeah, you definitely want something that's fast for sure, and then he's got to be able to score and stuff like that. I think just lots of good repetition, and eventually they'll figure it out. It's probably a little bit confusing for them when their rider goes flying off the side the first time, but they eventually get it figured out and get more confidence in what they're doing, and eventually you'll hopefully come out with a finished product.
Tana, let's take it back to you here. The change, you left all the barrels up here today. It was probably a better run for you, right?
For sure it
change?
was. No, I got on my mare Ebby. She usually handles one run, but not two. And so I'd been saving her for this afternoon, so Moose didn't have to make 2 runs today. But after she made a run today, she gets the call tonight.
And Bertina, is that kind of a strategy you would have had too, or was Duke on both runs today for you?
I usually use him no matter what, unless he's telling me that he needs a break. So Duke will get the call again.
Another one for Duke?
Yeah.
And, well, obviously, you can't change now when you won the round on him this afternoon.
He
They broke,
usually
don't
gets
fix it.
stronger and stronger and more confident more runs he has. And that's how he was at Calgary. That's how he's been here so far. So we'll
And,
keep going with that.
I looked at the standings before, but I'm not remembering where you're at over there. I think you're pretty close to the top. It's there's still 30-some thousand that's available to win, so it's anybody's game. But what does that look like to go and win this whole thing too?
That would be a pretty big feat sitting where I am right now. I hadn't placed until today.
Yeah.
And I knocked yesterday, so that
Oh,
was
okay,
kind
so
of
you're out of the average too.
Yeah, so it would be a pretty big feat but we're just going day by day, and
That being said, she is 4th coming in.
Yeah.
And we all made the CCA finals together in 2016, and Bertina won it that year, so I'm not counting her out.
Yeah,
Some good juju there.
I like that.
it would be a big feat. But
anything can happen,
it can.
right?
It ain't over till it's over.
Nope.
Ryan, I had a funny question come to mind here.
Uh-oh.
Out of the
Where are
top
we going here,
12
Waze? What does this
steer
look like?
wrestlers, who would win in a leg wrestle?
Not Straws right now.
Yeah, Straws would be out
assuming
right
everybody's
now.
healthy.
Yeah, Straws has got to be pretty tough to beat. He's got a low center of gravity. I wouldn't want to be doing any leg wrestling against Strawsy for sure.
Is that something you guys have done before? Is that how you guys decide like who gets to pick the most steers to come to the finals of the leg wrestling tournament?
Yeah, the leg wrestling usually comes out a little bit after the steer picking, but yeah, we've definitely done it a few times.
Oh, and talk a bit about that. Like, it's kind of similar to what they do in the rough stock events. You guys get to choose the stock that comes, and like we're chatting behind stage here. And, like I would not be able to remember what any of the steers or cows would do. So it must be kind of a collective effort by all you guys.
Yeah, there's some guys that'll keep a list throughout the year, and you kind of steers will get famous throughout the year. You know, there's ones you're supposed to win on, and ones that are a little bit tougher to win on. But yeah, you kind of have a decent idea about what they are when they get there. And we were fortunate enough to use George Butterwick's indoor arena, and we all went out there and run them down and put a few runs on everything and kind of pick something we thought would suit. You know, you want them to last good at the finals. You don't want to have something nasty in there stopping. You want everything, you know, give everybody a good, honest chance. So Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, the COVID year, a little bit tough. There's not necessarily as many steers around, and so I think we did a pretty good job at the end of it.
I want to ask about the traveling situation here. Who do you travel with, Tana? What does that look like? And where's this new trailer at? Are you pulling that around now, or did you get to sell it, or what'd you do?
I
Need the
am
cash?
pulling the new trailer
Yeah?
around. I sold the old one before it fell apart going down the road. No, I got the pleasure to travel with my mom this year, so that was pretty cool. She definitely has inspired my barrel racing career, and for the first time ever, she's running something I trained instead of me running something she trained. So
The turntables.
So that was kind of cool. But yeah, we got to go together almost the entire year, and that was really special.
Well, after Wasey's comment, what are the games or what are the shows you're playing or watching on the road? How does that go?
Oh, most of the year we traveled in like a stock trailer that had like no lights, so there was no shows watching. We did listen to your podcast a few times.
Oh,
though.
really?
Nice.
Really?
Fans of the show.
Which one?
The most popular one, actually, because we come from a bull riding family, is the one you guys did. Was it last year?
Oh, yeah,
When
with
you
Donnie.
ranked
Yeah, you told us about that,
When
yeah.
you ranked the bull riders.
That's
yeah.
right. It was Don Johansson and Chad Bestplug, the one we recorded at the hat shop.
Top 10 bull riders.
Top 10. That's
Top
right.
10.
And
yeah.
Wade made the list.
Yep.
What's your biggest traveling pet peeve? That's a question for all you guys. What's the one thing you hate if you're traveling with somebody that you absolutely loathe that they do?
I don't know if I can say. My mom's in the crowd.
Be careful what you say.
I think and this is something that's normal for everybody, but for us, my mom's always been your mother, and she does everything for you. But I've lived on my own for 5 years now, and so being back on the road, she does too much for me.
Martina?
With me, I travel by myself most of the time. Coming from Hudson Bay, there's not a lot of people that want to make that trek, and I do have to stay out on the road. I can't make it back to Hudson Bay, so I usually make little tours out to Alberta and then come back.
And hope that they set you up right so you don't have to go make too many extra miles.
Right. Yes.
And does that change like how you approach rodeoing throughout the summer? Like you said, it's hard to go back to Hudson Bay on a weekend, and you have to spend weeks on the road. Is that kind of wear on you over the year, or are you able to like find ways
It
to stay
takes
focused?
me a few weekends to get used to that traveling, and then I'm hardened in. I'm ready to go the rest of the year. But I try save the miles for my horse, and sometimes they'll get left at Cooley Equine
Okay.
for that week, and I'll run home and get stuff done, and then go pick up my horses. And then I'm tired, but they're fresh and they're ready to go.
Ryan, what's your traveling pet peeve?
Well, I just try to be pretty easy going because I don't got my own team, so I'm usually just along for the ride.
Yeah,
so-
you're the rookie. You probably have to do most of the driving, and you have to do. You probably got to get the sunrise shift, the old 3 to 5 a.m. That's probably the rookie shift, or what?
Yeah, I've caught a few of those shifts, but yeah, I think my biggest pet peeve is spit cups. I hate spit
the
cups.
worst, man.
Like,
Yes.
get it out of there.
I had some traveling partners that would just leave bottles of chew spit in my vehicle, and it drove me up the
Ooh,
wall.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Is there a bad experience with that? Is that what happened? Did you try and drink the lot of Pepsi and you had a little chew?
No, knock on wood, I've never
That's
had a
happened
swig of
to me
someone's spit
before.
cup.
You got no way.
I did.
Was this in the chuck wagon days?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, jeez.
That makes me
Was this
sick.
when you were a kid, like early on? You thought, oh no,
Yeah, it was.
be ruined for life.
Yeah.
Ted, you mentioned getting set up right for the weekend. I remember back in the day, I had some friends who were timed event buddies, and they'd always try and enter with me. Being a rough stock guy, you usually get the perf. Is that something you guys have done in the past? Like enter with a rough stock somebody just to kind of
You don't
get set
have to tell
up
us
for the
your
perfs?
secrets
You don't have to
either.
tell your
That's the
secrets, but
thing.
In the past, we used to be able to do that with amateur rodeos, but now you have to be married to a rough stock guy
Really?
in order
Oh.
to enter with him.
Is that in the works, Tanner?
Well, I've been trying to marry a team roper, so that's probably not going to help me at all. but-
Sorry, Bettina, what were you saying there?
I don't know what I was
Don't
saying.
know.
I didn't realize. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. Go ahead, Waze.
I don't know if this is going to come off as like bad, but like the barrel racing stereotype.
Be real careful.
How accurate is the barrel racing stereotype?
I think the
They're all
barrel
over there,
racing
I am trying to be
stereotype
nice, but-
is pretty accurate when you get below the professional level.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
That's a good answer.
my boyfriend and I were talking because we're all lined up on the pavement every night before we come in. And normally, barrel horses, especially when you go to a barrel jackpot, you see horses that are bad to get in or horses that are leaping coming in. And so standing on that concrete, we had to make that decision earlier this week of whether we were going to be standing on the concrete or coming down where the stock is coming down, and we'd have to be walking over bars and walking under bars. And so we decided on the concrete, but there has been absolutely no wrecks. Everybody, knock on wood. Everybody has had really quiet horses. We've been really lucky, and I said that never happens. You never see that, and I think that really, is a testament to the horse trainers.
I went to one barrel racing event this year. It was actually the Innisfail deal, and there was a bad wreck at that one where, it was not a good time.
No, there was a bad wreck there. A horse got caught up in some electric fence and was attached to a tent that she had, and it drug it all over the place, and it was
Smashed
a
a
wreck.
truck up, and it was a bad time.
Well, it's good you bring that up, at the different levels. I remember going to high school rodeos and having to walk behind the chutes with my elbows up, trying not to get run over by all the pole bending and barrel racing horse, the goat tying horses. They're running around everywhere, knocking people over.
Well, and I remember going to CCA rodeos, and because everybody's loading the chutes and perfs, you have bronc riders, bull riders stepping off the fence into the alleyway because they're trying to get ropes on horses and bulls that going in as you're trying to go in. I definitely just about took somebody out at Kindersley.
I've been guilty of that a few times. Ryan, do you have any superstitions you have before you go into a run, or what's that look like?
No, I don't. I don't try to think about any of that stuff. I mean, there's maybe every once in a while I'll think I need to be superstitious about something, but it usually don't last very long. The ups and the downs seem to come no matter what. But
how about you two? Do you have any superstitions or rituals that you follow before every run?
I have 2 numbers, and it goes back to the hockey. So my kids' hockey numbers, Brianna was 13 and Justin was 27. So those were my superstitious numbers. So Calgary Stampede, it's been 13 years since anybody in Canada has won the Stampede. So that was my but those 2 numbers, that's what I watch for. That's probably my only really superstition.
Oh, that's pretty neat then. So, and
I wore my shirt that I wore for Calgary today because I needed extra luck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and going back to 13 years, would have been 2008, would have been Lindsay won it then?
Yeah.
And then before that would have been Jill with back-to-back. Jill, Bishop, and Bestplug, I guess, at the time, right?
Yeah. And then they told me I was the only Saskatchewan barrel racer to ever win this Stampede.
What up?
Yeah, so that was pretty neat.
What did it mean to you that day to win that? And what is it, where are you at with it now a few months later?
I still can't, when people ask me that, I can't put it into words. There was just every emotion, every excitement. It was surreal, that day was.
And so last night I was watching SportsCenter in the room afterwards, and they were talking about the fighters, and there was a feature on George St. Pierre and some of these guys that are at the very elite, and they say it's different when you go from being the hunter to the hunted, and where now you're at that level and you won the title, it's tougher to stay there, to stay at that elite level and keep it at that elite level for a longer time. Where's your head out on that for going back next year? Or do you even get to go back next year? Is it totally new now?
I don't know. I don't know how the qualifications will be. Hopefully, but
we'll see.
We don't know.
If you win this weekend, there's no doubt. Top 4 usually get to go, right? That's
the
what it has been.
pressure.
Yeah.
The pressure. There's so much pressure at all times, and I think with me at Calgary, I didn't have as much pressure because at that time I was going in there and I was just, I don't know, on top of the world to even be there.
Yeah.
And that was good enough for me, and we were going in there to compete, but I didn't have it in my head that I had to win that.
Where when you go back, there's going to be a lot more pressure.
There's so much pressure.
Right?
There still is. If Duke doesn't have a good run now, people are like, what's wrong with him? Is he
she
done?
won-
And it's
she
like,
won Calgary.
no,
She's
he's
won
a
every time
horse.
now.
I can't program him. He just, today he didn't feel like running.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more pressure and a lot more people watching and expecting. I find that maybe sometimes other people expect more out of my horse than I even do myself.
How do you handle the pressure this month? You said it's increased since you've won Calgary and it kind of hasn't went away. What do you do to stay focused?
I just remember that I'm doing this for me. It's not for popularity. it's just for me and my horse.
Okay, Tana, do you have any superstitions that you have heading into runs?
Cody makes fun of me all the time, saying that I have lots of superstitions, but more than anything, I think, everything happens for a reason. And like my journey with Moose has definitely been a testament to that. We got him when I wasn't looking to buy anything last year, and he just kind of showed up. And this year, I was just about done rodeoing for the year when he started winning. And he's pretty solid 17.6, 17.8 on a standard pattern horse, but he went out and won Sundry. And so the next weekend at the Big Bang, everybody was like, well, you're going to win the Big Bang. Like, you're going to be the top runner. And I was like, well, not a chance. These futurity horses are already winning it with 17.3, which was 0.3 faster than what I had won the pro rodeo with. Well, Moose doesn't like to be told that he's not fast enough. So he went out and ran 17.2, fastest run out of 2,000 runs, while bucking going to third barrel.
Jeez. Yeah, we talked about this. Moose is a bit of a bucker.
Moose is a bronc, and that is how we ended up with him.
So what'd they mark him when you got when that 17.2?
They never did give me a score,
Really?
so I'm still waiting.
45, 44?
We never got a good picture, so I'm not sure how high he kicked.
Has he ever bucked you off during a run?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Moose only bucks when he runs, and it's usually 3 or 4 times a year, but that's how I ended up with him.
Dang.
He started bucking as about a 4-year-old, and only in runs. My girlfriend Cassandra trained him for somebody else, and futurity'd him as right up until 7-year-old, and then it was time to sell him. And so he sold to a new owner, and she had him for about a year, and he piled her bad, and she realized she was pregnant. And so she decided she didn't want him, and I had some for sale. And so she called me and asked if I would trade. And I do not like broncs at all, but I knew him, and he had won about 50,000 before I got him. And so I knew he had a chance. Yeah. And she told me when, actually at the first jackpot I took him to, when I got piled at first barrel, and she's like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I know the next one he'll go out and win. She said, I know he'll head to the CFR, and she was right.
Oh, I like that. We should probably wrap it up here. I don't want to keep anybody too much longer here, and we got another perf to get to here, not too far away. So, anything else anybody wants to add? Or anybody want to say thank you to for being here?
Yeah, thanks for having us out. This was awesome. It was lots of fun.
Thank you.
Got to thank your family probably for you know. You don't have to thank us.
Yeah, they're
That's
right
fine.
there.
Yeah, thanks to my family, and there's some of my friends from Saskatchewan coming to watch, and this was a fun deal.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Bertina?
My husband, I just spotted him in the audience, so I'll thank him. He went and took care of my horses while I was up here.
Awesome. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for being here, Bertina. Thanks
Yes,
for doing this during the autographs as well. Tana, I'll leave it with you.
Thank my family and, of course, my sponsors, my job, Terry Jones, for letting me have the week off. And I know our neighbors are here with their little girls, and they've been watching our dog all week, so I appreciate that. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Well,
thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for being here, Tana. Thank you, Ryan Schuckberg, Bertina Olofsson, Tana Millard, my co-host, Wasey Anderson. Thanks for joining us here this week. This has been the CFR Hot Stove for 2021. Be back right here next door, Peavy Mart Centrium. 6 p.m. start. 5th performance of the Canadian Finals Rodeo for 2021. Wraps up tomorrow afternoon. Back here on the stage as well. 8:30 p.m. start time in the cabaret. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it. I'm Ted Stoven. He's Wasey Anderson. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here.